Hello, hello, hello. This is Priscilla with Zilla Travel, helping you live the dream through travel. And today is the day. It's the day that AmaWaterways is here. And we have special guest, Rob Huffman, here to talk to you all about AmaWaterways and river cruising and our upcoming river cruise in 2024. So, let me just get started. So I'm so glad that you decided to join me this evening or morning or afternoon, whenever and wherever you are in the world watching this video. Thank you. And for the replay people, thank you. Remember, I'm using StreamYard. So StreamYard is a third-party software. So if you have any comments or questions, please click the link because in the Facebook groups, it'll make you do a link, click the link. So please just click the link, grant StreamYard permission to display your name. So go right ahead and let me just introduce Rob from AmaWaterways. Let's see
Hi,
if I can
everybody.
do
Yeah,
this. I'm
there
gonna
we go.
make Rob bigger. Let's see if I can do it. First time I'm doing it on StreamYard. So okay, let's do.
Looks great. Looks great. So, hi, everybody. I'm Rob Huffman with AmaWaterways, and on behalf of myself and Priscilla, thank you all so much for taking the time and spending a little bit of your time and coming to learn a little bit about AmaWaterways in this really special itinerary that Priscilla has, and it has a special itinerary for you this evening. But we're going to share with you a little bit about who we are. We're going to talk a little bit about hardware, software, some of the things at AmaWaterways we do differently when it comes to river cruising, and this really, really special itinerary that we have in store for you tonight. So, Priscilla, if you're ready, I say let's get rolling.
All right, Rob. So I'm going to put Rob's slides on the screen here. And then when I put his slides on the screen, I'm monitoring the comments. So if
Perfect.
you have any questions or comments, please, like I said, remember I'm using StreamYard, third-party software. Make sure you click the link so StreamYard will show your name. So I'm going to let Rob take it away. And I'm going to.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Priscilla. And again, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. You know, at AmaWaterways, we're frequently asked, is it AMA? Is it AMA? Is it AmaWaterways? And at AmaWaterways, we're truly all about one thing. We're about love. You've heard amore, right? If you were like me and took Latin in high school, amo amasa mat is the verb for love. And for us at AmaWaterways, when we say love, the love at AmaWaterways starts with these three people that you see here. The gentleman on your left is Rudy Schreiner. Rudy is considered the godfather of river cruising. Believe it or not, he was the president of a very well-known, very well-recognized river cruise line in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was there that he met his soon-to-be bride, Christine Karst, who was also an executive at this other river cruise line. They decided they wanted to go out on their own and they wanted to start their own river cruise line. They met a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Murphy. Jimmy at the time owned a different company, an Irish tour operator, and he sold that company, joined forces with Rudy and Christine, and over 20 years ago, we launched AmaWaterways. Our focus is Europe, Southeast Asia, and Africa when it comes to river cruising. Unfortunately, Jimmy passed away in 2014, but his son, who you see pictured here on your right, Gary, who had been with us for over a decade, picked up his father's mantle, joined our executive team, and he and his family, along with Rudy and Christine, truly do everything we do as an organization starts with these three people that you see here. That love emanates throughout both our shipboard and our shoreside staff and crew. Now, for those of you that may not have taken a river cruise, but perhaps have thought of one, our philosophy at AmaWaterways is quite simple. Oceans take you to countries, rivers take you through countries. At AmaWaterways, we're all about cultural immersion, the opportunity for you to truly wrap your arms around the destination, the culture, the history, the traditions, the cuisines of these great places that we travel to. I like to compare an AmaWaterways river cruise to that of an upscale, land-based escorted tour throughout Europe. I don't know if any of you have ever taken one of those land-based tours. I'm a little bit biased. I think we have a leg up on those guys. Here's my philosophy as it relates to that. If you've ever done one of those land-based tours, you know what I'm talking about. You go all day long. You get back to your hotel room, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. You have just enough time to get your new clothes out of your bag, put your old clothes in your bag, put your bags outside by your door, because you've got to be downstairs at the crack of dawn the next morning to hop on a motor coach for a couple of hours. That's not the way we operate at AmaWaterways. You sail in luxury on one of our beautifully appointed ships along the highways of yesteryear. Look how beautiful, how calm this water is. Those of you that have concerns over motion discomfort, please don't worry. Our ships literally glide upriver and glide downriver. Better yet, when we pull into a port of call, we lower the gangway and off you go. You take a dozen, 2 dozen steps, you're right in the heart of the destination. You're not lining up with 1,000 of your closest, these days, gosh, it's over that. It's 4,000 of your closest friends waiting to get off the ship. But you're lining up, waiting to get off. Take a dozen steps with AmaWaterways, you're in the heart of the destination. Looking at the Dom Cathedral in Cologne, you're looking at that beautiful Parliament building in Budapest, just a few steps away. So it really is a wonderful experience and something we hope you'll all certainly look to enjoy without question. Now, I promised Priscilla that we would not take too much of your time this evening. We would be here for hours if I went through every one of these bullet points with you tonight. But again, promised her we wouldn't do that. We will talk about a number of these things throughout the course of our time together this evening. But with us, we always go back to the AmaWaterways love. One of the great things about our experience is our staff and crew. Yes, I'm an AmaWaterways employee. Yes, I'm probably supposed to say this, but I'm amazed every time I step foot on one of our beautiful ships at just how much our staff aboard those ships truly takes to heart your experience. Their number one goal is to exceed your expectations as our guest. All professionally trained, all English speaking. Truly, the word no just is not in our vocabulary. We're going to work with you as closely as we can to make sure that you have a wonderful experience aboard our vessels. Another great thing about sailing river cruises, remember, we have land on either side of the ship for the entire length of your voyage. You're not looking out at water for miles and miles and miles. It really is a wonderful experience because we have access to land on either side of the vessel. We have access to local and regional entertainment. We have a pianist, we have a vocalist for you every evening, so you'll always have some sort of entertainment. But it's very, very common for us to have a string quartet that might come aboard and perform, a flamenco dance team that might come aboard and perform. If you sail with us during the holidays, the Christmas season, it's common for us to have a children's choir that comes aboard and sings Christmas carols. That kind of local regional entertainment really does add to the incredible experience and focuses on that regional culture that you're experiencing. Some of the things we do a little bit differently at AmaWaterways truly starts with our cruise managers. If you've ever sailed a river cruise or perhaps researched a river cruise, then you understand you have the cruise portion of your experience, that point A to point B where you really enjoy the cruise. But there are other things, and we're going to talk about those here in just a moment as well, that we refer to as pre or post extensions that give you the opportunity to enjoy the destination on land before and after your cruise. At AmaWaterways, it's unique within our industry. Our cruise managers are with you the entire time. Not everybody does that. Not everybody offers that. Our cruise managers are with you while you're on land, while you're experiencing the tours before you get on your cruise, and the same thing post. After your cruise, they go with you. a very big advantage, very big benefit to have that AmaWaterways service that we're very much known for. We take great pride in delivering while you're on land as well. Another thing that we offer that nobody else does, we have wellness instructors aboard our ships. Yoga, Pilates, spin classes on some of my ships, stretching. It's there for you if you want to do it. It's not mandatory by any stretch, but it's certainly there for you to take advantage of if this is something that might be of interest to you. I was always amazed at how our wellness instructors, they're very much front and center. They're there for you to answer any questions you might have. And yet just another benefit that you can enjoy when you sail aboard one of our wonderful ships. This is a big one. So again, if you've taken a river cruise or perhaps researched one, you likely know it's very common in the industry to hear a shore excursion is included in every port of call. Now, what some of our competitors might not tell you is that they usually offer one shore excursion, and more often than not, it's a city tour. That's not the way we operate at AmaWaterways. At AmaWaterways, you have the opportunity to select to enjoy anywhere from 2 to 6 different shore excursions in every single port of call. Hiking, biking, wine tastings, beer tastings, Epicurean experiences, city tours, museum visits, palace visits. The list goes on and on and on, all included in the cost of the cruise. With those other guys, if you do something outside of that city tour, you're going to spend anywhere from $50 to $200 per person per tour. Again, not the way we operate here at AmaWaterways. We also recognize not all of our guests are cut from the same cloth. As a result, we understand that some of our guests may want to go a little slower pace, not as many steps, not as many cobblestone streets, but they still want to see all the highlights that all of our other guests will see as well. We offer a gentle walkers tour that does just that, allows our guests that want to move at that slower pace to see all the highlights, but without as many steps and cobblestone streets, etc. Our regular walker tour, very self-explanatory. And if you're the type that wants to move at a quicker pace, maybe get that heartbeat racing and the blood pumping, we offer an active walker tour that you can participate in as well. And for those of you that want to sleep in, we realize it's your vacation. In many ports of call, we offer a late riser tour so you can sleep in without that FOMO, right? That fear of missing out that we talk about these days. I got to say, the bicycle tours they really are a big hit. Our bike tours range anywhere from 5 miles to upwards of 30 miles if it's something that you want to participate in. Don't worry, it's a very leisurely bike tour. It's absolutely not the Tour de France by any stretch. It's not a race. Our guests of all ages participate in these bike tours. I actually had a past guest come up and said, Rob, I love the bike tour on my last AmaWaterways cruise, but you know what I did? If I didn't see a tour in the afternoon that I wanted to participate in, I'd go to the reception desk and I'd say, may I please have a bicycle? Within minutes, she said, it was outside waiting on me with a helmet and a lock. I would ride up and down the river. I'd stop and shop or get a glass of wine. It was so relaxing, so peaceful. So again, it's there for you if you'd like to take advantage. We also offer complimentary Wi-Fi, and we recommend that all of our guests download the My Ama Cruise app before you sail with us. The app itself has all your e-docs, all of your shore excursions, has the daily activities so you know what's going on at all times, lots of great features and benefits. And then, of course, when it comes to Wi-Fi, if you've ever taken a cruise and tried to connect to Wi-Fi, most ocean and river lines out there today still use satellites. Remember, though, we have land on either side of our ships for the entire voyage. Because of that, we've invested, we spend more than the competitors to invest in connectivity via 5G. So it's much more reliable, nowhere near as spotty as that connection that you're used to on oceans and perhaps other river ships as well. Now that's the point, excuse me, where I hope you've all had dinner, because this is an area we truly take great pride in, and that's delivering fantastic cuisine throughout the length of your voyage. We're very humbled, very proud to have been recognized by 𝗕𝗓 𝗕𝗓 is one, it's the highest culinary recognition that a hospitality organization can receive. Every one of our ships has this designation. Even more impressive to me is the fact that you can't just say, hey, we want this designation. You have to be invited to become members of 𝗕𝗓. And again, all of our ships have this recognition. So that sets the bar pretty high when it comes to your dining experience. We're very focused on local regional cuisines. That said, we also have the ability to accommodate any kind of dietary issues that you might have, whether it's gluten or shellfish or peanut, or if you're the type of person that does not want to experiment, you want your meat and potatoes and your common meals that you're used to here at home, we have those for you as well. I will say there's one thing we cannot accommodate, and that's based on the limited space on our ships, and that's kosher meals. But I tell you, we receive really high marks. We're very humbled by the high marks we receive from our guests when it comes to dining. All your meals, all your snacks when you sail with us are included included in the cost of your cruise fare. We also include beer, wine, and soft drinks at lunch and dinner. If you want that mimosa at breakfast, we're going to make that happen for you too. But there's one other thing that we do at AmaWaterways that no other river cruise line offers. That's our chef's table specialty dining. And what this is, it's very similar. If you've taken an ocean cruise, you know these days you have your main dining area where everything's included in the main dining, but on the oceans, they have alternative dining where you go to a steakhouse or Asian fusion or whatever it may be, and they charge you additional for those experiences. Our chef's table dining is a 6 to 7 course meal. Different wines paired throughout the course of the evening. Our chef, you see behind the glass there, he or she will walk out and they will speak to each course, each ingredient, presentation, preparation, and so forth, the wine that's paired with it, and why. All of our guests, at least one time during their cruise, have the opportunity to enjoy the chef's table. This is included in the cost of your cruise. We're not going to nickel and dime you when you sail AmaWaterways. Just like the multiple shore excursions you have to choose from, chef's table is included in the cost of your cruise. We get really high marks, as I mentioned, on our dining. When our guests talk about the chef's table, it goes through the roof. They love this experience. If, and it's a big if because they don't, any of our competitors offered anything like this, they would charge upwards of $100 to $150 per person. It's that kind of an experience. On our ships, it's a very intimate experience, and it's 28 guests at a time that enjoy our chef's table. So you can see here, it gives you a little insight into what the chef's table area looks like. When it comes to the fleet, excuse me, we're very, very proud of our fleet of 25 vessels that we have right now. Next year, we're adding 3 more brand new ships. It's just an absolutely incredible fleet of vessels that we have. This is probably my favorite slide in the entire presentation. The reason I like this slide, it gives you an idea of what one of our vessels looks like. And so you may know as you navigate, especially as we sail throughout Europe, regardless of river cruise line, regardless of product or brand, all of our ships in the industry have to be the same size because we navigate, we go in and out of locks up and down the river. The reason I like this slide so much is, again, all of our ships can only be this long and this wide because we've got to fit into the locks. Some of our competitors call their ships long ships, tall ships, short, call them whatever you want to call them. We're all the same size. Why is this important to you? Well, it's important to you because at AmaWaterways, we carry 25 to 30% fewer guests than some of our competitors. Why is it important? Because it means smaller tour groups. It means we have bicycles. It means we have a chef's table. It means we have a spa salon, a fitness room. It means that we're able to offer a higher level of service. We're not just trying to put as many people on the ships as we possibly can. We offer multiple different accommodation options from which to choose, ranging in square footage across the fleet from 170 to over 700 square feet. So you can see here, obviously over 700 square feet, we're talking suites. Our signature accommodation is probably in that top middle quadrant that you see there, or section tile, the twin balconies. These accommodations have two balconies, one veranda that you open the door, you walk out with your glass of wine and your book, sit down, you enjoy the sight, sounds, and fresh air of the river. Above the orange chairs there is a French balcony. A French balcony, the door is open, allows the fresh air to come into your stateroom, but it's not where you can walk out and sit down like a traditional veranda. Obviously, we have French balcony accommodations as well. At minimum, all of our staterooms offer a river view. We have no inside, we have no interior staterooms aboard any of our vessels. And we also offer a limited number of triple, quad, and connecting staterooms also. Now let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about destinations. And at AmaWaterways, we like to say we sail the legendary rivers of the world. You can see here on the bottom left, I hope you can see my cursor here anyway. Bottom left in the blue area here is Portugal. We sail the Douro River there. We're on just about all the rivers in France that you see here, from Bordeaux to Provence, Paris, out to the beaches of Normandy as well. I'm going to jump over to Egypt. We started Egypt about 2 years ago. Egypt's been so popular, in fact, we're adding a second ship in Egypt in 2024. We sail Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Cambodia, on the Mekong River. And then we also offer a wonderful itinerary. It's more of a cruise tour combo in South Africa. Our sweet spot, you'll see here right through the heart of Europe, from the Amsterdam, Netherlands area, on the Rhine, the Main, the Danube rivers, all the way through the heart of Europe, down into the lower Danube, where we visit Romania, Bucharest, Giurgiu, and so forth. But this evening, Priscilla and I are so glad, so delighted to share with you just a spectacular itinerary. That's our Soulful Epicurean experience for 2024. And I'll share with you very quickly. Our first Soulful Epicurean experience will sail later this year in 2023. These experiences are focused on Black heritage and history in the regions that we sail. We announced our first Soulful Epicurean experience in 2022. When I say to you, it sold out like that, I mean, it was amazing how quickly it sold out. So what did we do? In 2023, we announced for 2024, 2 sailings. They sold out so quick, we've added a 3rd sailing for 2023. And Priscilla is so fortunate to have the opportunity to offer you this wonderful experience. As you can see here, it's our Colors of Provence itinerary. You're probably not going to believe me. You're probably going to think, oh my gosh, he's just trying to tell us that because he works for AmaWaterways. The Colors of Provence itinerary is my favorite itinerary. My wife and I sailed this itinerary last May. It is absolutely amazing. And again, with our focus on Black heritage, you can see here, we're going to start in Paris. This includes 3 nights before you ever set foot on the ship in Paris. We're going to offer an exclusive Josephine Baker excursion where you have the opportunity to walk in her footsteps. The next day, you have this fantastic Black history tour. And then we make our way from the City of Lights, which you can see here, which is just an exquisite city. We'll make our way to the Ama Christina. The Ama Christina, that ship I sailed on last May, as we make our way to this beautiful region of France, South France, and we experience the Colors of Provence itinerary. I'll share with you just a personal tidbit here. I enjoy Paris. I really like Paris. Paris is a big city. I love Lyon. Lyon to me has everything that France you think of when you think of France. Those wonderful cafes where you can sit outside and enjoy the fantastic French cuisine, a nice bottle of wine, the people walking by, the French music in the air, people friendly, just a wonderful, friendly area. If you like food, you may know the name Paul Bocuse. Paul Bocuse is a world-renowned chef. He passed away a few years ago, but his fingerprints are all over this region. And you know what else this region is well known for? Wine. I hope you like wine. So you're going to have the opportunity to visit Beaujolais. We take you to a vineyard in Beaujolais where you have the opportunity to do different wine tastings. It's another one of those personal stories, and this is the honest truth. And my wife and I really enjoy wine, but the fourth day of this cruise, I looked at my wife and I went, I just cannot drink any more wine. Think of the nice problems that we have to deal with on this cruise, right? From there, we make our way to Vienna. Vienna is just wonderful Roman history, this just fantastic architecture. This is where we took a short, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 mile bike ride, very casual, very level, very enjoyable, riding through vineyards. Again, the fantastic Roman influence in this destination. You're going to have the opportunity to choose from multiple different tours, and again, do as many or as few as you'd like. Toulon was another one of our favorites. There's a wonderful chocolate factory in this destination. As a matter of fact, I think this is the port of call where you'll have the opportunity to do a red wine and chocolate tasting if you so choose. And we offer multiple tours from which to choose in each of these destinations. Avignon to me was just absolutely amazing. One of my favorite things about Avignon, you can see the walled city up there in the background. Avignon, believe it or not, served as the seat of the Catholic Church in the 1400s. For 100 years, it was the seat of the Catholic Church. And there's a fantastic wine, in addition to the Beaujolais, the Burgundies. In this region, you have Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And the Châteauneuf-du-Pape is the chateau of the popes. So it is their vineyard. You may have seen bottles of wine that have the keys engraved on them. Those are the keys to the papal palace. And so you have the opportunity to tour the Pope's palace here. You have the opportunity as well to perhaps go truffle hunting or even visit Pont du Gard. Pont du Gard is a 1st century Roman aqueduct. Really is a fantastic experience. And then finally, we make our way to Arles. Arles, again, has that fantastic Roman architecture. You can see on the left side of this slide, the fantastic amphitheater. You have the opportunity to go inside this ancient building and just see just a fantastic, where they still hold concerts, plays, things of that nature today. One of my favorite things about Arles is the fact that if you're an art fan, Van Gogh is from this region as well, spent lots of time in this region. And one of his masterpieces, I can't remember the name of it, perhaps if you're an art fan, you may know, but it's a cafe that's got the blue awning, and it's a beautiful piece of art, very, very well renowned. That cafe is in Arles. They've got a rendering of Van Gogh's piece right next to it. It's absolutely amazing to see that. And so all of the things that you have that are included in this fantastic experience right here in front of you, you see your 3-night stay in Paris, the Josephine Baker excursion along with the Black History Paris City Tour. We're going to get you on the TGV, the train from Paris to Lyon, where you have all the fantastic experiences that we spoke of throughout the presentation this evening as well. And I got to tell you, 𝗲cie is offering as well an opportunity. It's an optional opportunity, but it is our post excursion in Barcelona as well. I've been in travel just about my entire career for decades. I've never been to Barcelona. 𝗲cie and I were talking about that before we started up with you this evening. But we certainly hope that you'll give 𝗲cie a call and take advantage of this absolutely extraordinary. It's going to sell out. There's no doubt that it's going to sell out. We just hope that you have an opportunity to put your deposit down, take advantage, but before it does in fact sell out. So Miss 𝗲cie, that is all that I had this evening. I wanted to know if you, by chance, had any questions that have popped up.
So we actually had a couple questions from
Awesome.
Joanne, and her question was about the bike tours. So she's asking, is there a slow bike tour? Did you happen to ever take one of the bike tours? I know I've been on one, but I wasn't ambitious enough to do it.
Joanne, it's a great question. I've done multiple bike tours ranging from 5 miles to my last cruise in November. I was on the Danube. I'm like, 27 miles. That's not it was good. I made it. It was okay. But the answer to your question, I'm always amazed at the different ages that really participate in the bike tours. There's a tour guide at the front and there's a tour guide at the back. There are multiple rest stops. There are multiple stops to kind of have a sip of water, take your break, get off the bike, stretch your legs. So the short answer is no, there's not a slow bike tour, but it goes at your pace. And so don't feel like you can't participate or that you shouldn't participate, because you'll see very quickly there are people of varying not only age groups, but physiques, physical abilities. I'm trying to figure out the politically correct way.
That's a good way of putting it. Physiques.
So it really is something that we do encourage our guests to take advantage of.
Okay. Joanne has another question, and it's about food. Food allergies. Are they, or basically, can you accommodate
that is
allergies?
A great question. And so I go back to my experience. And again, ironically, when I sailed Provence, this same exact itinerary on this same exact ship last May, I was traveling with a group, and one of the ladies in our group, and I would say this here if she were right here in front of me, so I'm not speaking out of turn, she had every food allergy known to man. Shellfish, peanuts, gluten. I mean, the list really went on and on. She said, Rob, I don't want to be a pain. I feel like I'm so troublesome. I said, Erin, don't worry. Have a seat. She sat down. The waiter came over. They had a conversation. She explained her allergies. They went through the menu. They looked. Does this work? No. Does this work? Can we make every night from that point forward? The maitre d' would see her walk in. He would walk over, he would bend to one knee and sit with her and look at the menu. Miss Erin, how are you this evening? How does this look? Do any of these work? So a long-winded way to say, I truly believe our culinary team enjoys that challenge of going, we're going off the menu. We're going to have the opportunity to make something special for this guest if they so choose. So again, the only thing we're unable to accommodate is kosher meals, and that's purely based on the limited amount of space that we have on the vessels, because we've got to fit through those locks. But I promise you, there is no allergy that we cannot overcome.
Great. Joanne says she can't wait.
Woo.
So Joanne's actually booked on the cruise.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So be sure let Priscilla know what allergies you have. We want to make sure we document your booking so that the team is ready when you get there. We're going to take great care of you. I'm confident of that.
Great. Okay, so she's got another question about theme nights.
So a great question. On this particular itinerary, there are no theme nights that we're aware of. So unless you decide you guys want to create your own, Priscilla, right? Maybe that's something that you might want to do.
That.
But there will, when we sailed, we had a fantastic string quartet that came aboard and performed. But there were no theme nights that to speak of that I recall.
Okay, but what I think they were talking about was, and this is what, was going on behind the scenes, they were talking about an onboard sort of wine tasting and chocolate or jazz, some sort of thing they were talking about doing in one of the places that we stopped.
Oh, there's going to be all kinds of things like that, right? So, and we don't want to spoil all that fun for you right here tonight, but there will be lots of surprises. There's going to be wine tastings on board. There's going to be wine tastings ashore. There are going to be opportunities from you to choose from jazz experiences and so forth. And I suspect, based on just how special this itinerary is, with the focus of this itinerary, you're probably going to see a couple of special things that will take place.
Yeah. So jazz is another element of this itinerary because jazz is central in France.
Hmm.
So, I mean, who would have thought, you know?
Right.
The Americans in World War One brought jazz to France, specifically the 369th not engineering, but infantry. It was a National Guard unit in out of New York, one of the first, and they fought besides the French. It was an all-black unit, one of the all-black units during World War One, and
Oh,
they played. They had a band, and quite interestingly, right, the band leader, his name was James Europe, and he
how
was a
about
band
that?
leader in New York, and they fell in love with the way that they played, and that's how jazz came to France.
Love it.
So
You're
it's
teaching me
that's
something tonight, Priscilla. I love that story. Thank you.
I'm just interested because I'm like, how in the world did they get there? How did they like they I know they
Well, that's
love
great.
jazz and they fell in love with black culture, but I wanted to know how. World War One. Go figure.
Nice.
They fought
Good
alongside the
deal.
French. And she also has another question. Joanne is asking, is there a doctor or a medical team on board?
Great question. That's a question we get asked frequently. And the short answer to that is there is no doctor or medical team on board, but hear me out. All of our staff, all of our crew are trained in CPR, are trained in first aid. We have the defibrillators aboard the ships. But remember, Joanne, we have land on either side of the ship, and especially on all the itineraries, but especially this one, we can pull that ship over to the side and have a medical team there in a matter of minutes. So it is. I've been on the river side of our industry for over a decade now, and I knock on wood, I have not heard of nor have I seen or experienced any sort of a tragic event. So we're pretty comfortable to share that your health and welfare will certainly be taken care of when you're with us.
Yeah, so I actually sailed to France is like my favorite. But you're going to spend most of your time on land. You're going to sail in the evenings, or maybe if you decide to chill and sail, doing a daytime sailing or do something during the day. But for the most part, you're on land. So the ship never leaves sight of land.
Yeah, you
You're
got it.
actually on the bike tours on one or two of them, you actually ride the bike to the next stop and the ship meets you.
That's how close we are, right? Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
Avignon, I loved Avignon as well. Uh, my luggage got lost, so I went shopping in Avignon.
That was the airline, though. That wasn't on the
Yes, it was the
waterway.
airline.
All right, so we want to
It
make
was
sure.
the airline. It was not AMA. It was the airline. They
There
couldn't
you go.
figure out how to get it from JFK. I'm
There
not
you
going to
go.
tell you which airline it was, but yeah.
Gotcha.
So they were shopping. It's different than your ocean cruise. You're going to be doing things. So
Yeah.
casual attire is recommended. You may want to have something a little fancier for the evening or the chef's table
Chef's table.
restaurant for
Yeah.
your reservation. Oh, and another thing, when we got to Lyon, because I went the opposite way, I sailed
Yeah.
from Avignon up, and I had the chef's table restaurant, and I said, "Well, I need to go shopping again to get something that's chef's table restaurant appropriate." So I went to the mall.
How cute. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's a great
So
point on the attire, though, right? So we want you to be comfortable, and I'm asked that question frequently, and I refer to it as country club casual, right? For gentlemen, a golf shirt or a button down. Well, you'll see some gentlemen wearing a sport coat, but not many. Ladies, my wife will take sundresses or capris or slacks. Again, want you to be comfortable. We just ask you to dress up a little bit more for dinner than during the day. During the day, when you're on the tours, when you're on land, we want you to be comfortable there too. So in June, if shorts were your thing, by all means, shorts, t-shirt, rubber sole shoes are very important. But be comfortable.
yes, I felt, I had packed that bag. I went to the store and had all these new outfits, and it didn't make it to France. And I was disappointed, but I did H&M anywhere, bought some casual wear.
They're all over the place, those H&Ms, aren't they?
They sure are. So was Nike and
Mhm.
McDonald's and other
Yep.
recognizable stores in
Yep.
Avignon. I liked it. They had restaurants. There's a restaurant row, and you can sample all sorts of French delicacies. Everywhere you go in France, there's food.
Yep.
So we'll be going in June. So those lavenders should be in bloom, Rob.
Yeah, that's timing could not be better.
I'm so
Timing could
happy
not be
about that.
better.
So it
Fantastic.
should also be warm. So shorts
Yeah,
might be appropriate.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Does anybody
Okay.
else have any other questions about anything that we talked about? Any other questions? I'm just checking because I had quite some other people who signed up to come. I don't know if they made it. They'll probably do the replay. Excuse me.
Good.
Yeah, they'll probably do the replay. A couple of people, I actually have some clients that are booked on the first voyage this
Fantastic.
August. So they were supposed to come, but I don't see them here today because they were curious as well. So they're getting ready to sail, as a matter of fact,
And
on the
if
first
anything
one.
anything pops up after our presentation, you have that direct line. We talk all the time, right? So
Yes,
we'll
we
get some
sure
answers
do.
for them.
Yes, we sure do. So I just wanted to real quick, okay, show everybody something really quick. If I can figure out how to do it with these tools. Okay, so, oh, here we go. I'm going to share my slide just really quick because I don't want to be redundant with what Rob went over. So let's see. Share screen. I have to say it out loud. So we talked about Pont du Gard. That was me at Pont du Gard.
Isn't it
I
amazing?
love that
It
place.
is an amazing. We actually swam in the river. It was to think that is a first century
Yes,
Roman aqueduct. I mean, to think it's just mind boggling to me to think that that has stood for that long, right? So,
absolutely
um,
mind-boggling.
yeah. So it's amazing the kind of history that you have the opportunity to really see, touch, and feel as you sail this region. So, and
Yeah,
Priscilla, I was very genuine. It's my favorite itinerary. I love that south of France itinerary. So,
it is. And to be honest, Rob, I like the southern part of France better than Paris, to be honest. I like Paris, but
yeah,
I
me
loved
too.
the
Yeah,
southern part of
yeah,
France.
yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. I'm a country. I like the country. Even though I was born and
Right?
raised in New York, I like the country.
Very good. Well, we hope everybody takes the opportunity and reach out to Priscilla and let's get on board. We'd love to have you join us.
Yes, so booking is open. The dates are June 17th through June 27th. We've got low deposits, like $400 per person to hold your spot because you're going to have to hold your spot. That $400 will go towards that on a luxury product like this. I also have structured payments where I help structure them for you and break them out, send you reminders and make your payments for you. There's also a 24-month payment plan called Uplift where you can travel now and pay over time up to 24 months. Flights are available for purchase, and with the purchase of air, and when I sail with AMA, I generally let AMA book the air because their prices are competitive, and I just don't feel like messing with air, to be quite honest, because the airlines are, well, I'm just gonna leave it there. AMA does a really good job. They're quite competitive, finding good flights for me. And if you do book with AmaWaterways, your airport transfers are complimentary. That means the transportation from the airport and back to the airport when you're coming into the country and returning back home.
Yeah.
There's also travel protection. AmaWaterways offers cruise protection as well as I have other providers for travel protection. There's also a Barcelona add-on for 3 nights in Barcelona. Uh, once we disembark in Arles, those who are going on to Barcelona, we'll take the train again, high-speed rail to Barcelona for 3 days, 3 nights rather, and then go home. So as Rob mentioned, there's single, double, and triple occupancy accommodations that are available right now. As of today, that suite was available, but by the time I get off, it might not be available. That suite can accommodate up to 4 people.
Right.
Is that right, Rob?
Correct. Great. Correct.
Okay. And then the triples, there are a couple of
Yep.
cabin categories that can accommodate 3 people. So those go fast. And then they're all right now. What we've got left are the double balconies. I think there's maybe one fixed window category left. But this is a fantastic trip, and it's something that you want to get yourself ready for now rather than later, so that you can make your payments. And these are all of the things that are included, and this is an all-inclusive luxury experience. You don't have to worry about a bill when you get off the ship, just your tips for your cabin steward. That's the only thing that you are expected to pay, but you don't really have to. They don't make you pay. Rob, can you talk more about the tips when we leave?
Yeah. So gratuities are not included. So that is typically about $110 per person, and it covers all of your gratuities for the entire time that you're there. That includes the cruise manager, your cabin steward, your wait staff, things of that nature. You'll find they work really, really hard, and so I'm confident that you'll be more than happy and willing to compensate them a little bit for what they do.
I gotta say, my cabin steward, her name was Anna. I still remember her 2 years ago. She left chocolate on my pillow several times a day.
That's great. That's great. Very good. Good, good. Well, lots included, lots to see, lots to do.
What about this daily sip and sail cocktail hour? Can you talk more a little bit
Yeah,
about that?
absolutely. So every evening, so to Priscilla's point, it is very inclusive. And every evening, about an hour or so before dinner, we have our sip and sail cocktail hour where all of your cocktails are included, right? We mentioned beer, wine, and soft drinks are included at lunch and dinner. But we are happy hour, your vodka soda, your bourbon on the rocks, your whatever it is that you cosmopolitan, lemon drop martini, those are all included as well. So again, just another example of how we're not going to nickel and dime you when you sail with us.
How about champagne? Joanne's asking.
That's of course, we'll get you the bubbly there without question.
It's also served during the chef's table
Right.
restaurant. It's like a 7-course meal. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's the Josephine Baker tour, and this is the picture of my cruise manager, Dejan, and those of us who went on the Paris add-on.
Very nice.
So that was Dejan, and then those were the other people. It was only 5 of us who went along to the Paris add-on. So Eleanor is asking a question.
Yeah, you
How
can
do
pay
you
via
pay?
you can pay via credit card. Absolutely, and it is everything is in euros while you're aboard the ship.
Okay, so she's asking about euros. Now, I personally forgot to bring euros, so I got euros on the ship. And but it's always a good idea to get some euros before you leave. But so you can tip in the currency, because they don't ask you to tip your tour guides, but the tour guides are so good that you tip them. At least I did. So
Yeah.
I was able to get euros on the ship, do an exchange
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I would recommend trying to get them before, right? Your local banks can typically help you out with that. What I do is I'm a Bank of America guy, right? So I call Bank of America before I leave, and I say, hey, I'm traveling. I just want you to know my credit card, so you don't put a suspend on my credit card. And they tell you at that time that, oh, by the way, when you're in this region, and I can't remember the name of the bank, and it may be BAP, but anyway, a bank in France that offers reciprocal ATM privileges. So you're not charged the fees, you're not charged when you withdraw money. You can go and do it very easily. But yeah, it's important to have the euros.
I'll definitely have to look for that one because I just used my credit card while I was there.
That's the easiest way to do it because most credit cards these days don't have foreign transaction fees, and you get the best conversion rate.
Yeah, I got the best conversion rate. I just used
Yeah,
the credit card. So,
yeah, good.
and then used the euros to tip my tour guides.
Yeah,
And of course, my cabin steward too. So she got a tip because she kept leaving me
awesome.
chocolate. So she got tipped on
There
top
you
of the
go.
tips. So,
Good.
does anybody else have any questions? I'm looking at the chat. Thanks everybody for joining. Type
Yeah.
your questions in the chat if you've got any. So this is an Epicurean experience. So there's a lot of cuisine, a lot of music, art, just enjoying life. You know, things that, at least for me, I had dreams when I was a young girl before I actually had to go work and get a career. And now I'm like, after the past 3 years, it's time to live a little. And AmaWaterways has made it so accessible for people to go and see Europe. And it's a luxury experience. Uh, it's just beautiful, and just the idea that they listened to a group of travel advisors who said, "Hey, we would like for you to do a Black culture tour because we see that you're doing Jewish heritage. That's pretty cool. I'd like to go on one of those as well. We see that you're doing Hispanic culture, going to Spain and Portugal and the Magdalena. Uh, um, that'll be soon in Colombia. So we asked, "Hey, can you do that for us?" And they did, and they were very accommodating. They've made it so much easier, and we just felt, it was just a beautiful, beautiful experience. So this is actually my retirement trip. So I'm retiring from 28 years in federal service in defense acquisitions and software engineering. I'm ready to give it up. So next year I'll be doing more of these, and I hope to be doing a Christmas markets tour, um, river cruise. It's just, while you're working, you still have to save your time, save your leave, and when you're out, you just have to build up some more. So I'm looking forward to this trip as well as many more. So Rob, do you have anything else to say? And I'll be looking
Nope.
to see if anybody else has any other comments or
Thank you
questions.
everybody for joining. We hope you call Priscilla to book today, and we appreciate you attending. So that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, AmaWaterways. So this is
You
Priscilla
bet.
with Priscilla Travel, and I help you live the dream through travel. So what I do is I provide premium travel planning and advisory services for empty nesters in their second act. So I help curious travelers get the most out of excuse me. I help the curious traveler get the most out of their vacation by connecting more with the local culture in the destinations that they visit. And this river cruise will actually help you do just that. So, this is Priscilla with Priscilla Travel, hoping that you have a great rest of your day, morning, or afternoon whenever you watch this video. So please, replay audience, I'm glad to have you. If you have any questions, please put your questions in. I will get back with you. This is Priscilla with Priscilla Travel signing off, hoping that you have a great rest of your day. And remember, as always,